Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you. We have a really exciting topic to begin our new year. My name is Kurt Lalomia. I'm a financial advisor with Turning Point Financial. We're going to cover some logistics before we get into our 5 secrets to financial success for 2023. I want you to know what to expect. We don't want any surprises. These slides are available upon request. Just send me an email if that's something you're interested in. I'll have my email address up on a few of these slides that are coming your way. So let's get after it. Again, my name, Kurt Lalomia. I'm a financial advisor at Turning Point Financial. This slide highlights a little bit about me, my full contact information. The second designation you see there, Chartered Federal Employee Benefits Consultant. I specialize with federal employees. I know your benefits well. I've taken lots of classes. I've taken continuing education. I've passed some tests. So I know your benefits well. I specialize with federal employees. My firm, Turning Point Financial, we are what's known as an RIA or Registered Investment Advisor. We're located in Frederick, Maryland. We work with federal clients around the country from most of the agencies. The SEC is our regulator, and we are fiduciaries. That means we're required by law to do what's in our client's best interests. That's me as an individual, and that is the firm overall. We are a team of 25. A little bit about the firm. Next is our webinar calendar, what we're doing this year and what's coming your way. Be on the lookout for these things. Here's what we're going to be doing today, what we're getting into. This is an educational forum. I'm not here to sell you anything. I think I'll open your eyes. You'll learn something new. If you have questions, you can send me an email, or you're entitled to a complimentary meeting. Your participation today entitles you to a complimentary meeting with me. If that's something you're interested in, I'll tell you how that works a little bit later on. Our 5 secrets, the 5 secrets to financial success in 2023, some obvious, some not so obvious, and they're in no particular order. So don't pay too much attention to that. Everyone here today should be making contributions to your Roth. That's a Roth IRA. That's your Roth TSP. If your spouse or partner's in the private sector, it might be a 401k, a 403b, a 457. Roths are funded with after-tax dollars. They grow tax-free. They come out tax-free. That creates tax-free income, and that can have a major impact during your retirement years. Tax-free income during retirement can lower Medicare premiums, lower the taxes you pay on Social Security, and reduce or even eliminate required minimum distributions. Roth participation, that's the quickest way to building your tax-free bucket for future tax-free income. What the heck is a tax-free bucket? Well, that's a pot of money that you contribute to, you grow over time. That's your Roth IRA balance. That's your Roth TSP balance. There's some different insurance strategies we sometimes use with clients to build tax-free income through insurance strategies. We're not going to get into that today because that doesn't work for everybody. Roth conversions. They allow you to take an old IRA, an old 401k, 403b, or even your TSP upon retirement and move those funds to a Roth. The conversion is simply moving money from a traditional account to a Roth account. It's done in IRAs, not the TSP, not the 401k. Conversions are only done in IRAs. We have to pay taxes on the amount we convert. So we generally like this as a long-term tax strategy. We manage the conversion amount by studying the tax tables, filling up the current tax bucket. And now's a phenomenal time to be involved with Roth conversions because the market's down. Personally, I love the Roth. I have a Roth. My wife has a Roth. We make Roth 401k contributions, Roth IRA contributions. You can contribute to both. How much? Well, the limits were raised at the end of last year. We're going to cover those. For the TSP or a 401k, contribution limits for 2023, $22,500. If you're age 50 or older, you can contribute an additional $7,500. That's known sometimes as the spillover or the catch-up. IRA limits were also raised, $6,500, $7,500 if you're age 50 or older. Taxes on the Roth and the traditional, they're very different. I like to try to get the point across with my acorn and tree story. As I take you through that, question I want you to keep in the back of your mind is, do you want to pay taxes on the acorn or do you want to pay taxes on the tree? Bear with me as I try to get this across. The acorn is our contribution. Our contributions grow to become a tree. I'm going to use hypothetical figures. Let's say we make a contribution of $10,000 into our Roth and we apply a 20% tax rate. Again, hypothetical. It costs us $2,000 in taxes to make that $10,000 contribution. Our Roth grows over time and becomes $100,000. Again, a hypothetical figure. Well, we've paid $2,000 in taxes to have a tree of $100,000 of tax-free income for later on in life. That's Roth. Traditional, very different. Our traditional contributions grow tax deferred. We get the tax break up front. Our $10,000 acorn contribution into into traditional receives a tax break up front. Lowers our taxable income. We pay less in taxes. We make the same $10,000 contribution, again, grows tax deferred into a tree of a hypothetical $100,000 amount. We apply the same 20% tax rate. That leaves us with an obligation and responsibility of $20,000 in taxes. So our similar contributions of $10,000 have grown to be $100,000. With the Roth, we paid $2,000 in taxes. With traditional, we have to pay $20,000 in taxes. I'm not suggesting that you put all your money in Roth. Just want to get across the differences in how it works. Let's keep going. We're going to talk about your TSP. We want to talk next about positioning that for success this year in 2023. How do we do that? Some things to think about here on this slide. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. We're actually going to address some of these things a little bit later on during our presentation. 3 questions to ponder and the 3 fundamental portfolio practices. Obviously, we've all been living through a painful market correction over the last several months. Things are looking better this year, but the market's still down. Last year, everybody was down. There was nowhere to hide. It was especially painful because both the stock market and the bond market were down at the same time. That hasn't happened in over 100 years. So what do? It's painful to watch the news, painful to look at your TSP decline in value. It's painful to talk to your colleagues about how much money you've lost. What do? Well, the answer, we get advice. We have a strategy, we have discipline, and we do not panic. What does do not panic mean? Well, don't let your emotions guide your decisions. An example would be looking at your TSP too often, getting upset, moving your lifetime nest egg to the G fund. That's panicking, and most of the time, that's a bad decision. Panic is making the big mistake, making an emotional decision, not getting advice. Quick story. One of my friends who works for the federal government, not a client, but he did just this. He moved his lifetime nest egg to the G fund at some point last year. For his situation, that was a big mistake, and he and I talked through it. He's now in the process of moving it back, moving it out of the G fund back into the growth funds, CS&I. You see, even though he was close to retirement, which was his big worry, he's not going to need these TSP funds for more than 10 years. That's something you have to recognize. Just because you're retiring or close to retiring doesn't mean you're going to tap into those TSP funds right away. Some do, some need to, but everyone's situation is different. Bottom line, make sure you have someone helping you. I can't tell you exactly what to do because I don't know your unique situation. Generally, I do tell people to stay the course. Don't look at your statements or your online access too much. Continue to make those TSP contributions, your IRA contributions, your systematic investment contributions every pay period. The market's been on sale. It's still on sale. What we're experiencing, it's normal. It's part of a cycle, and all market corrections are temporary. Those staying the course with their investments, they will be rewarded over the long term. Delaying retirement, I have a bullet point on the slide about that. I can't answer that for you. And I can't answer that for you because that's part of a larger analysis. The way we look at that here with our team at Turning Point, we use software to get that answer. It's not a simple calculation because so many things must be considered. Things like your budget, when you plan to take Social Security, your pension, your spouse or partner and what they have going on, the TSP, your other investments, and then other potential sources of income that you have. Let's not forget your goals, your legacy, your life expectancy. When to retire is not easily answered. Let me know if that's something you might like to dive into deeper. That would be a one-on-one call. Okay, bear with me. Thank you. How many of you know the current asset allocation in your TSP? That's not only which funds you own in the TSP, but where are the contributions going? How much is the Roth portion? How much is the traditional portion? These are questions you have to be able to answer. This is diversification. It's how much risk you're taking. It determines how large your TSP might become. Having too much in one fund, that may be under diversification. Owning too many funds, particularly multiple L funds, that's over diversification and that's holding you back. It's holding you back from earning more. It's holding you back from properly managing risk. Let me know if you'd like a complimentary TSP review or if you'd like to take our firm's risk tolerance test. It's online, it's no cost. Let me know if I can be of help. Okay, here we're going to go a little bit deeper. I talked about that first slide. We're going deeper. Asset allocation, that refers to how much you have invested in the stock market, in the bond market. How much is uninvested that's sitting in cash? That's something you all should know. While the TSP is likely your largest financial asset, you have to consider your other assets, your outside accounts, the bank account, IRAs, brokerage accounts. Do those complement the TSP? What does that mean? Well, to complement the TSP is pretty general. You've got your 5 funds, they're good funds. You might do something different in an IRA or a brokerage account. You might want to have exposure to a different area of the market that the TSP is not giving you. That could be real estate, that could be energy, that could be healthcare. Think about complementing your TSP with your other accounts. That's part of your overall asset allocation. Rebalancing, what's that? How do you do that? How often? Some of you wonder what I'm talking about. Well, if you're in one of the L funds, and L stands for life cycle, then it's done automatically for you. If you're not in an L fund, then it's on you. Let me explain. Early on, you set an asset allocation. Say 50-50, 50% stock market, 50% bond market. 50% in the C fund, 50% in the F fund. As markets move over time, that asset allocation is going to change, and rebalancing helps to keep you at 50-50. Here at Turning Point, we rebalance every quarter, just like the L funds do. If you need help with this, let me know. It's important. Not doing it, neglecting it, that's going to lead to what we talked about earlier, over diversification or under diversification. Next, we're going to talk about what I believe is one of the most important topics of the day. Your beneficiary, that's who gets your stuff when you get to the end of the line. In the course of our everyday business, we review our clients' beneficiaries at least once a year, and you should be doing that too, whether you're working with another advisor or you're doing your own thing. Beneficiaries are included in your TSP, your IRA, your life insurance. Some of you have TOD accounts. TOD stands for transfer on death. Beneficiaries need to be up to date and accurate at all times. Another thing, you want people, not your estate, not your will, not your trust. Most of the time, there are some rare circumstances where it may make sense to have an entity rather than an individual as your beneficiary. Anything other than people, it slows down the process. It's going to take longer for your loved ones to get their inheritance. Changing beneficiaries, it's becoming a lot easier. It's available online in a lot of places now. Some still require paper and a signature. Every type of account that I mentioned, it has a beneficiary. You need to know who that is. If you can't find it or can't figure it out, get someone to help you. I can help you. Beneficiaries are different than your will. Let me say that again. Your beneficiaries, your beneficiary accounts, the type of accounts we're talking about, that's different than your will. They're separate from one another. They're independent. They operate separately. You can leave everything to your spouse in your will, but that does not include the beneficiary accounts. Our client had a situation. Let me explain. The husband's will had him leaving everything to his wife. The beneficiaries on the husband's IRA were his brothers and sisters. Guess what? The bulk of the assets were in the IRA. That created a problem for his wife. Coordination is important. Your estate attorney, your financial advisor, they should be working together, communicating. so that your assets are distributed the way you want. If you don't have beneficiaries assigned and something happens to you, a judge will be making the decisions, and that's not what you want, and certainly not what your loved ones need. That can take time. It costs money. Please let me know if you need help to better understand what I'm saying here. We're going to transition into our next one, which is estate planning, another very important and often put off topic. I'm not an estate planning attorney, but I know enough to be dangerous. I can confidently say that everyone needs some sort of estate plan, regardless of your age, your marital status, stage of career, whatever. Without it, your loved ones inherit a tangled mess. Some of you have heard me use that term before. We have a webinar titled Tangled Mess. Don't leave your loved ones a tangled mess. It's an elder care webinar. We'll be doing that later this year. Next slide. 3 of the 4 things here listed on this slide, that's something we all need. Trusts, not appropriate for everybody, so we're going to leave that out for now. The estate attorney can advise you whether or not you need a trust. The will, that's who gets your stuff. Everybody should know that. Everybody needs one. Financial power of attorney, that's designating or allowing someone to pay your bills, take care of things if you're unable to. Medical power of attorney, similar. Assigning someone to make medical decisions for you if you're in a bad way and unable to make those types of decisions. We all need a will, a power of attorney, and a medical directive. If you need a recommendation, we work with a network of attorneys around the country. Happy to provide some referral information, and you can check them out. As I said, I'm not an estate planning attorney. We don't have those here at my firm, but we're able to recommend a number of reputable ones. Keeping your estate plan up to date, just as important as keeping the beneficiaries up to date. Bad things will happen. Bad things will happen if you don't keep it up to date. And you don't want to do that to your loved ones. Reviewing your estate plan, that should be done every few years. I had mine updated recently after 20 years. The laws in Maryland, where I live, they had changed. It was necessary. My adult kids, they were also involved in the process, so it was a nice learning experience for them. Okay. And our 5th financial secret of the year, 5th and final financial secret, integrating your tax plan and your financial plan. As I said in the beginning, I work for a financial planning firm. That's Turning Point's core business. One of our primary goals is to help our clients create as much tax-free income as possible. And this is a big part of integrating the financial plan and the tax plan. Optimizing your assets to minimizing your taxes is what the integration of tax and financial planning is all about. And you've likely heard it's not what you make, but what you keep that matters. I know some of you have financial plans. Maybe you did it yourself. You had someone else do it. Think of your plan like a visit to the doctor. Financial plan is a diagnosis, just like a doctor asks a lot of questions to diagnose and understand what's going on with your health. In financial planning, we ask a lot of questions about your goals, about what keeps you up at night, what do you want to avoid, your life's wishes. We then ask our clients for all their financial documents like their tax return, their TSP statement, pension statement, Social Security, all their insurance, life, homeowners, auto. The team analyzes all of those, your pay stub, your benefits. So we look at all that stuff. That's our financial planning team, staffed with certified financial planners. Then we take you through a 3-meeting process. Our planning team uses sophisticated software that provides the client with a visual experience. There's colorful charts, graphs, tables. You can better understand your financial future. We conclude with recommendations. If we were the doctor, the prescription would be the recommendations. Recommendations are steps needed for the plan to be successful. There's a timeline. We email task reminders so you know what to do and when. We then walk with you on into the future together to keep you accountable. We want to ensure that the plan is successful. It's my firm belief that we all need a financial plan. It doesn't matter how old you are, how much money you have, where your stage of life, or when you plan to retire. As I said, I know some of you already have one. And for many of you, it's on the to-do list. Financial plan, it analyzes all the pieces of your financial puzzle, helps you figure out the best ways to accomplish the life's goals. 3 facts about financial planning. 1, they can cause your lifetime portfolio to be higher. 2, financial planning saves you time, effort, worry, record keeping. It gets you organized. 3rd, financial planning will save you more in the cost of mistakes that will help you avoid. Larger portfolio, organization with record keeping, avoiding costly mistakes. 3 facts about financial planning. Whether you're preparing for retirement, approaching retirement, or in retirement, it's important to understand the impact. I'm talking about the tax impact of your combined income. I've listed on the slide some different sources of income. This is going to help you determine the amount of taxes to be withheld so you don't have surprises when you file. Next, we're going to show 3 different types of accounts, or 3 different types or buckets of money. Most of us have at least 2 of these. You should probably have all 3. There are steps that you can take to make that tax-free bucket your largest. Those steps include TSP Roth contributions, Roth IRA contributions, and Roth conversions. Let's break these down. What do these 3 different buckets mean? Number 1, taxable. That's money you have in the bank, in the money market, could be CDs. You pay capital gains tax on whatever interest or dividends that might be generated from those types of accounts. Tax deferred, we talked about that already. That's traditional contributions. We're deferring taxes to later on. It's a little bit of a roll of the dice because we don't know what taxes are going to be in the future. So we're deferring. Tax-free, we like to help our clients have this bucket of money become their largest. There's different ways to do that. I just mentioned 3 of those. Get on board with the Roth in a more meaningful way if you're not already. I'm not suggesting that all of your money go to the Roth, but it needs to be a meaningful part of your portfolio. Okay. Who's on your team? What does that mean? Well, at a minimum, your team needs to have a tax advisor or a CPA and a financial advisor or CFP. They got to communicate with one another. We're going to talk about this a little bit more on the next slide. But that's how you integrate tax and financial planning. Your tax guy and your financial guy putting their heads together, figuring out ways to optimize your assets and minimize your taxes. Let's keep going. Okay. Paying attention to tax brackets and your total income, that can make a difference in many ways. And you don't just look at your income, you have to consider your spouse or partner and what they have going on. Anyone with retirement money in traditional accounts, you need a long-term tax solution. And if you don't know what that is or how to find it, we should probably talk. Going back to something I touched on previously, the integration of tax planning with the financial plan, that's where the real magic happens. The software we use, it shows our clients their lifetime tax savings when they follow our recommendations and they employ various tax strategies. Tax planning with Medicare premiums in mind is something most people don't consider. They don't get advice on it, and it's costing them a lot of money. Therefore, the tax-free bucket can be really, really important. This all comes down to having all the three different accounts that I mentioned, managing your three buckets of money, and getting as much as you can into that tax-free bucket. I didn't do my first plan until I was in my 50s. Wish I had done it sooner. I admire my clients that do it in their 30s and 40s. Most people wait. There's really no good reason to do that. Acting sooner rather than later ensures you'll have all your bases covered, gives you time to fix any potential problems. It'll give you clarity on your financial future and peace of mind. Enough on financial planning. Here's a review of what we covered today, our 5 secrets to financial success in 2023. All are important and they're in no particular order. Action items. Again, these slides are available upon request. Just shoot me an email if that's something you have an interest in. Look over your beneficiary accounts. Make sure your beneficiaries are assigned. Make sure they're accurate. Be engaged with the Roth TSP, Roth IRA. If you need an estate planning attorney referral, let me know. I'll send you the name of somebody in your area. Set your TSP up for growth. Now's a great time to be an investor. The market's on sale. We have Compass on this slide. Compass is what our firm calls its financial plan. Like a compass, our financial plans provide direction. You want to integrate your financial plan with your tax plan. As we wrap up, I want to thank you all for your patience, for being here today. I hope to see you in the future. We generally do these every month or every other month. My full contact information is on the screen. Please reach out if I can be of service. Consider me a resource, whether it's now or in the future. If you have questions, send me an email. Early on, I mentioned the complimentary meeting. Your participation today entitles you to a complimentary meeting. If that's something you're interested in, just send me an email and we'll find a convenient time to get that scheduled. So that's what I have for you today. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great afternoon, everybody.